Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list. Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We are told that nakshatras are very important in a horoscope, and nakshatras are the DNA of the horoscope, and when we look deep down, they will give us the actual manifestation and the strongest manifestation of the sign energies, because where exactly is the midpoint of the sign basis what the ascendant degrees are, and where specifically the planets are placed in what nakshatras, they are the guiding energies of the horoscope. And the most important obviously is the nakshatra of the moon, because where the moon is placed, that nakshatra becomes the guiding nakshatra for the horoscope, and the nakshatra lord of where the moon is placed, that is the lord of the first dasha that starts with the person's birth. So the nakshatras are very, very important in a person's life. However, why we look at the nakshatra of the moon, which is the guiding nakshatra, and the other nakshatras, which is the most influential nakshatra, which works in the background and which gives us the strongest results of the overall horoscope. Here we are talking about the overall horoscope and not just one placement. So if I look at the entire horoscope, is there one nakshatra which comes out as the most influential nakshatra, and how do we find it? Now, numbers are very, very important in the horoscope. For example, we know that the 12th to any house is the losses of that house or the challenges and issues of that house also. The second to a house is the earning of that house. The 11th to a house is the aspirations of that house. The 5th and the 9th to a house are the gains of that house, and so on. And that's how we see from a numbers perspective how results may come forth. And hence the 6th, 8th and 12th houses to the lagna are seen as the dusthanas. However, the 6th, 8th and the 12th to any house become a challenge for that house. So these 6th, 8th and 12th houses for the second houses are obviously the 7th house, the 9th house and the lagna itself. So that's how you see, that's how you manifest the results in the horoscope. So if numbers are very important, how do numbers contribute to the most influential or most prominent nakshatra which works in the background and creates the biggest manifestation in a person's life? The secret to that is how to decode the strength of the nakshatras. Firstly, you need to see which are the nakshatras which occupy the horoscope, which means which is the nakshatra of the ascendant and which is the nakshatra of the 9 other planetary entities. So once we find out what is the nakshatra of the ascendant, which means the specific degree of the ascendant will also give you which nakshatra that degree falls in. So if, say for example, if you are the 14th or 15th degree in Cancer, then you will fall in the Mula nakshatra. So the nakshatra of the lagna becomes Mula if the lagna is Cancer and the ascendant is at 14 to 15 or 16 degrees even. So then where are the other planets placed? So where are the two luminaries placed? Sun and Moon. Then where are the other 5 planets placed? Mercury, Venus, then Moon, then Jupiter, Mars and Saturn. And where are Rahu and Ketu placed, for example? So based on these 9 entities and the ascendant, each one of them is in some nakshatra or the other. So ascendant will occupy some nakshatra, Sun will be in some nakshatra, Moon will be in some nakshatra, Mercury, Venus, Moon, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, all of them will be in some of the other nakshatras each. So then you look at what is the number of the nakshatra. So for example, if the ascendant is Aries and the ascendant is at say 10 degrees in Aries, then the 10th degree falls in the Ashwini nakshatra. So the ascendant is lying in the Ashwini nakshatra, or the Ashwini nakshatra occupies the ascendant. Now what is the Ashwini nakshatra number? The Ashwini nakshatra is the first nakshatra of the zodiac. So the number 1 becomes very important. Say for example, Sun lies in the sign of Aries itself, but between 20 to 26 degrees. Then Sun lies in the nakshatra of Bharani, which is the second nakshatra of the zodiac. And so if you look at all the nakshatras, each of the planetary nakshatras where the planets are placed, each one of them has some number. So Ashwini is number 1, Bharani is number 2, Kritika is number 3, Magha is 10, Dhanishta I think is 23, Moola is 19, and so on. So then what you do is you take the number of the nakshatra of the ascendant and you take the number of the nakshatras of each of the planetary entities. So if the ascendant is at Aries, at 10th degree, that means in Ashwini nakshatra, so you take the nakshatra number which is number 1. Then if Sun is placed in the second nakshatra which is Bharani, then you take the number 2. So whatever is the number of the nakshatra, you take for each of the planetary entities and you add up all of them. And when you get a certain number, you keep adding till you get a number which is less than 27. So whenever you add the numbers and you get less than number 27, you stop, because you have 27 nakshatras. So if you add up all the numbers, you get 32, or 41 or whatever. Then whatever number you get, you add them together. If they are more than 27, you add the numbers again till you get the number less than 27 or less than 27. That becomes the number of the most influential nakshatra of the person's horoscope. So when you add up all of them, then you say you get the number 93. Then 93 is larger than 27. Then you add 93 again. So 9 plus 3 is 12. The 12th number. Now which nakshatra is the 12th nakshatra of the zodiac? That is the Uttara Phalguni, and Uttara Phalguni is the nakshatra which lies in the sign of Leo. So the Leo energies are there, and you will find that Leo energies, or the sign Leo of Leo Sun, the characteristics of the nakshatras will follow or will guide the person, or will be the most influential nakshatra or the influential energies in the life of the person. And many times, from time to time, whenever the person faces the biggest challenges in his life, biggest issues in life, or biggest success in life, that nakshatra will be very, very prominent. The energies of the nakshatra will be very, very prominent. So if the person's nakshatra ends up at Uttara Phalguni, so the Leo sign energies, the Sun energies, in which sign the Uttara Phalguni nakshatra lies, and the ruler of Uttara Phalguni, which is his placement, will become the guiding factor, the most prominent factor. The guiding factor will still be the nakshatra of the moon, but the most prominent factor, which again showcases itself and very strongly influences the person's life, will be the nakshatra, which you end up in all the nakshatra numbers added, and you get a final number. So let's take up example of one person who is a very acknowledged sports person from India. He's retired now. He used to play the sport of cricket, and his name is MS Dhoni, or Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He has just retired from the sport of cricket, one of the most loved sports, and one of the most followed sports, at least in the Indian subcontinent, in the Asian subcontinent. And I want to bring up the horoscope of MS Dhoni and look at what are the overall energies of his nakshatra, of his horoscope, and all the nakshatras put together. What is his final nakshatra, most prominent nakshatra, and how it has influenced his life. So let's take the example of the horoscope of MS Dhoni, and then we'll take up another horoscope as well. Now this is the horoscope of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, or MS Dhoni, as available on the internet, and this is one of the most accepted horoscopes, and so I'm taking this as an example. And so when you look at MS Dhoni's horoscope, this is Lagna chart and this is his Navamsa chart, and these are the placements of the ascendant, sun, and various planetary entities in his horoscope. Now when you look at each of the nakshatra energies, for example, the ascendant is in the sign of Virgo and ruled by the nakshatra of Hasta. Now the sun is in Gemini and in the nakshatra of Punarvasu. Moon is in Virgo, ruled by Uttara Phalguni. Mars is in Taurus, ruled by Mrigashira. So when you look at each one of them, for example, ascendant is in the sign of Virgo in Hasta. What is the number of Hasta? The number of Hasta is number 13. So you take that number as the first number of one of the nakshatras. Then Sun is in Gemini and Punarvasu. What is the number of Punarvasu? The number of Punarvasu is number 7. So you take that. Then you go to Moon. Moon lies in Virgo and Uttara Phalguni. What is the number of Uttara Phalguni? The number of Uttara Phalguni is number 12. So when you add up all these, so when you add up for ascendant, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu and up till Ketu, these 9 entities, and these are all the nakshatra energies from Hasta, Punarvasu, Uttara Phalguni right up till Ketu being Uttarashada. When you add all these numbers, you end up with the number 104. And when you add up 104, what is the final number that you get? Below 27, you get number 5. Which nakshatra is the number 5? It is the nakshatra of Mrigashira. Now Mrigashira is ruled by which planet? The Mrigashira nakshatra is ruled by Mars. Mars is also a ruler of sports people. Mars is also the ruler of sports peoples. If you find the most strongest sports people, most successful sports people in the world, you will find a very, very strong Mars. And they need Mars because they need to compete, they need to fight, they have to be goal oriented. And so MS Dhoni's final overall nakshatra energy is that of Mrigashira, ruled by Mars. And if you look at MS Dhoni's life, you will find that he has been a fighter right from starting from a small state in India, from Jharkhand. I think he comes from that state, very, very small state, trying to just become a ticket collector, and from there rising through the ranks, scoring a big century against Pakistan, arch rivals of India, where he was sledged by Shoaib Akhtar, hit on the body a few times, yet came up on top, scored a century, and there was no looking back after that. And what is Mars? Mars is about finishing the goal. Mars is the finisher. It finishes, it achieves the goal. And if you look at MS Dhoni is considered as one of the biggest finishers or the most acknowledged finishers of the game, which means he stays till the end more often than not. 9 times out of 10, if you're in the very trying circumstances, a tough goal where you need to score a lot of runs in the final over, you depend on MS Dhoni. You depend on MS Dhoni for your life. And even when he was the wicket keeper, you would see that he was a fighter. He would be very, very, sharp, and he would look at chances to get the opposite batsman out. Now, Mrigashira Nakshatra lies in 2 signs. Half of it is in Taurus, ruled by Venus, and half of it is in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. And if you look at the energies of both of them, you'll find MS Dhoni's life guided by these, 2 signs. Taurus is a very, very strong sign, earth energy, a very, very steadfast, almost being stubborn to get what you want, and very, very materialistic. And so he made huge amounts of money. There was time he was the most paid sports person in Indian cricket, and in fact one of the most paid or highly paid sports people in the world. And Venus is his guiding factor. Venus is also rags to riches story. The other energies which you require as a sports person is a very strong analytical energies. And so Mrigashira, also lying in the sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury, he also had the strong analytical skills to know, to calculate how many runs he needed till the last over, and then going hammer tongs and going slap bang, and then going aggressive in the last overs, and then finishing the job for his country, for his team. So that's the energy of Mrigashira, ruled by Mars. Very, very strong sportsman-like energies, goal-oriented energies, finishing energies, achieving energies, and not looking at any opposition, not looking at any goal, and finishing the task. And that is what MS Dhoni's overall nakshatra energies, or the most prominent energies ruled by Mrigashira, came out in various aspects of his life. Now when you look at his horoscope, let's look at where is Venus placed. You will find that Venus is placed in the 11th house. What is 11th house? 11th house is the house of Mars social connect, Mars social achievement, and Mars social acceptance and being the darling of the masses. And Venus is placed with Rahu. Rahu is sudden gains, sudden rise, and his biggest rise was during the Dasha of Rahu. From 2002 to 2020, when he retired from the sport, within the 2020, he rose big in the Dasha of Rahu, and he finished off and he retired from the game in the Dasha of Rahu. So the last 18 years have been exceptional for him. He has won every trophy which cricket could, the sport of cricket could throw up at him, from the World Cup, the ICC World Cup, to the T20, to the Asian, trophy. You name it, he has won all trophies. So many IPL, Indian Premier League, which is the Indian Premier League where foreign players come together and they combine teams to play against each other. He again won the IPL a number of times, and he was seen as the strongest component of the team Chennai Super Kings that he played for. So MS Dhoni is a very, very bright example, conveying the Mrigashira energies. And where is his Mars placed? His Mars is placed in the sign of Taurus, which the Mrigashira Nakshatra also comprises of. And where is his Mercury? His Mercury is right in Gemini sign in the 10th house with Sun. So Mercury energies rule the 10th house, Gemini sign, which is the Mrigashira Nakshatra. And where are his Mars and Mercury placed? Both of them are placed in Mrigashira Nakshatra. Mars is placed in the sign of Taurus, but in the first two padas of Mrigashira Nakshatra, and Mercury is placed in the next two padas of Mrigashira Nakshatra in the 10th house. So Mars and Mercury both are placed in Mrigashira Nakshatra in his horoscope, and he's guiding overall. All the energies put together are of Mrigashira, which is ruled by Mars, and Mrigashira Nakshatra has components of Taurus and Gemini, which is Venus and Mercury, and both Mars and Mercury lie in his Mrigashira Nakshatra in the horoscope. Can you get closer than this? And where does his Venus lie? His Venus lies in the 11th house of Mars, name, fame. Mars lies in the 9th house. 9th house is the house of traveling. So he traveled worldwide, won against different cultures. So Mars is winning against others. In the 9th house, that means he travel worldwide to win against components. And 9th house is also the house of different cultures, talking, dealing with, interacting with, and competing with people from different cultures, which the 9th house represents. And so Mars in the 9th house meant he traveled worldwide, which also represented by the 9th house, and he competed against people from different cultures, against different teams, and being Mars, he came up on top. And being in the sign of Taurus, he made a lot of money from it. And Taurus sign being, and the ruler of Taurus, Venus, being with Rahu, so in his Rahu Dasha, he got name, fame. So this is a very, very strong, very, very close relationship between the overall energies of Mrigashira Nakshatra and how MS Dhoni rose to fame. Let's take up one more example of another person, Barack Obama, who recently finished about 4 years back as the President of the United States, and let us look at his chart. Now Barack Obama's public horoscope shows that the ascendant is in Capricorn, in the Dhanishta Nakshatra, Sun is in Cancer in Ashlesha, Moon is in Taurus in Rohini, Mars is in Leo, Uttara Falguni, Mercury is in Cancer in Pushya or Pashami, Jupiter is retrograde in Capricorn in Uttarashada, Venus is in Gemini in Ardra, Saturn is retrograde in Capricorn in Uttarashada, Rahu is in Leo in Magha, and Ketu is in Aquarius in Dhanishta. So when you add up all the numbers of each of these nakshatras, looking at the numbers that each of the nakshatra represents, and when you add up all of them, you get the number 137. And which is larger than 27, and so when you add the 7, 3 and 1 number again, you get the number 11. 11th nakshatra is Purva Falguni. Now what is Purva Falguni? Purva Falguni is ruled by Venus, but which sign does it come in? It comes in the sign of Leo. Now Leo represents leadership. Leo is ruled by Sun, and the Purva Falguni Nakshatra is ruled by Venus. The Purva Falguni Nakshatra is ruled by Venus, and the first pada of Purva Falguni is the Navamsa of Leo, and hence he became a leader, the worldwide leader, which both the Nakshatra energies and the first pada energies also gave him. And Venus is also sudden rise from rags to riches. So he was brought up first in Indonesia, he was not very well off, then came to the US, did his law, and then rose to be a senator and ultimately became the US president. But now he's come out with his books, with his memoirs, and they are selling millions of copies. He's making money, still millions of dollars he's making through his public speaking, through his books. So the rags to riches story, by virtue of being ruled by Venus, is also there, which we also saw in MS Dhoni's horoscope as well. Now when you look at the horoscope of Obama, where is his sun placed? His sun is placed in the 7th house, which represents everybody else, all others. And which house does the sign Leo rule? The sign of Leo rules the 8th house, where both Rahu and Mars are placed. So 8th house energies of Leo, which the nakshatra is placed in, Purva Falguni is placed in the sign of Leo. Leo sign is his 8th house, which shows a sudden rise. Both Rahu and Mars are placed in the 8th house. And we also saw in the example of MS Dhoni, where Rahu played an important part in his life, and in the horoscope of Barack Obama, both Rahu and Mars are placed together in the 8th house in the sign of Leo. And Mars is also the fighter coming up, overcoming all odds, all competition and winning. And so the sudden rise in Barack Obama's life, where he was a senator, but he was not a very well acknowledged politician, and being a black man and coming right from a very, very humble beginning to overcoming all odds. Even there were controversy of his birth certificate, and he being a black man, there was also controversy that he may be a Muslim and all that. But eventually, with Rahu and Mars energies in the sign of Leo and Sun being placed in the 7th house of everybody else, he was able to have a strong influence with his analytical ability, strong influencing abilities in the sign of Cancer, which means nurturing, supporting. So he came across as a person who's and he brought that change, and we can make a change. He brought about the energies of making a change, of nurturing the lowest of the low, and the poor and the downtrodden, and the poor and the people who are those people who felt that because of Barack Obama's rise, they saw their own rise in that. And hence he won, because both Saturn and Jupiter are in the ascendant. And because Saturn and Jupiter both are in the ascendant, he came across a very wise person, he was a very level-headed person, and he won against all doubts. But going back to the nakshatra of Purva Falguni ruled by Venus, where is his Venus placed? His Venus is placed in the 6th house. 6th house is the house of competition. And where is the 6th ruler placed? The 6th ruler, Mercury, is placed with the Sun in the 7th house. So using his analytical ability, he was able to overcome all competition and rise to be the Sun, shine like the Sun, with the energies of Rahu and Mars backing him, with the energies of Purva Falguni being the base energies of the base nakshatra. And Venus also gave him name, fame and adulation. Which houses does Venus rule? Venus rules the 5th and the 10th houses. Venus is the strongest yoga karaka for a Capricorn ascendant native, which Barack Obama is, and ruling the 5th house, which is also the house of taking big risks, being 8th house to the 10th house, and Venus also rules the 10th house. So his career has been guided by Venus. Venus rules the Purva Falguni Nakshatra. Purva Falguni Nakshatra has Leo energies and ruled by Sun, and in the sign of Sun you have Rahu and Mars. What closer manifestation can you get more than this? So friends, you can see a number of examples. Take up any public figure's horoscope, add up all the numbers of the nakshatras, and once you get a number, if the number is bigger than 27, you add the numbers again and you get a final number, whichever is less than 27. Look at that particular nakshatra's number, and then look at what are the nakshatra energies, and then look at the nakshatra lord, where is the nakshatra lord placed in the horoscope, which sign the nakshatra rules, where is the sign lord placed, and then you will be able to put everything together and it will come out very, very strongly as the most prominent nakshatra energies in the horoscope. Look at your own horoscope, look at the horoscope of near and dear ones, and then come back to me, write in the comments below how close you could get the results, and you will be surprised how strongly all these numbers add up. All the nakshatra numbers add up along with the ascendant, the other 9 planetary entities, and that becomes the most prominent nakshatra energies in the life of all of us. So friends, I leave to you to look into your own horoscopes and others, and come back with your comments and tell me what you feel about your own nakshatra energies and how they have manifested your life, how they have guided you, and how they have been able to prominently demonstrate their presence and take it forward from there. So friend, like this video, share this video, and if you are looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me, the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.